Hey guys, what's up? So Apple is working to release the iPhone 12 this year, which has already been delayed till November, but that hasn't stopped the company from working on the next version of the popular smartphone, whatever it is called. According to Mac Takara, who has been able to source a mock-up of the 2021 iPhones from Alibaba sources, the mold is similar in size to this year's iPhone 12, the 5.4-inch model, and that's mostly because of slimmer bezels. Apple will be able to include a marginally bigger 5.5-inch display into the same body, which is of course possible if they use an OLED panel, which they would, because even this year's iPhones will have an OLED display. What's interesting is that there is no notch on this mock-up device, but just a marker for where the FaceTime camera would be, assuming Apple will make use of Samsung displays to achieve an under-display camera solution and make something like this, especially since Samsung is working on the same tech for the Galaxy S21 series. Now it is not clear whether Apple would drop the Face ID sensors or move them under the display, but I do believe they'll move it under the display with just the FaceTime camera visible when using it, but there might be a chance that Apple uses an under-display Touch ID sensor in the lower-end models, such as the 5.5-inch non-Pro iPhones, while having both under-display Face ID and Touch ID for the iPhone Pro lineup. That's what previous reports from Ming-Chi Kuo have hinted towards as well in the past. Kuo believes that Apple will have both the Face ID and Touch ID for the 2021 iPhones, especially since they have been filing patents for an under-display Touch ID sensor. He also says that Apple will most likely use Qualcomm's ultrasonic under-display fingerprint sensor, which should provide better security compared to optical sensors, as well as a larger area for the user to place their finger on for authentication. And it also makes sense if Apple Watch ever gains biometric authentication to have an under-display Touch ID sensor rather than the Face ID mechanism. If this comes true, it would be a dream phone for me. I really hate the notch on the iPhone lineup, and the fact that this year's iPhones will have a smaller notch is sufficient to get me excited. Also, the bottom connector on this mock-up device appears to be a USB-C port instead of the Lightning connector, which is in contrast to what we've been hearing recently. According to Ming-Chi Kuo, the highest-end model of 2021 iPhones will offer a completely wireless experience where charging would mostly be wireless, while Twitter leaker Fudge says we might also have the smart connector similar to what we have on the iPad, which might be useful for connecting accessories and data transfer, etc. And charging would still be induction and wireless based for the iPhone 13. We also have some super early iPhone 13 camera layout, and Fudge does ask us to take it with a grain of salt, as these are really early designs that may change going forward. He goes on to give some details on the camera layout of the iPhone 13 series, which he says will have a 64 megapixel main camera with a 6x digital zoom. The telephoto might have a 3 to 5 times optical zoom and 15 to 20 times digital zoom with resolution of 40 megapixel. A 64 megapixel 2.1:1 anamorphic lens and a 40 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera with a 0.25x zoom along with an improved light dust sensor completes the setup. Yes, take it with a huge grain of salt, and John Prosser does mention that Apple will likely stick with the same camera layout as this year's iPhone for the iPhone 13 as well. Also, Apple is likely to bundle 18-watt chargers with the iPhone 12 series, which is great news. Like, finally we can get rid of the slow charging on iPhones, which should prove to be useful for a lot of people. And Bloomberg reports Broadcom CEO saying that they are expecting Apple's iPhone 12 lineup to see a delay from the traditional September timeframe to Q4 of this year, adding more weight to the idea that it will be October before Apple launches this year's iPhones, so they might be available to consumers in November. That's it for this video. Do let me know what do you think about this down in the comments. Also smash the like button if you liked it, and consider subscribing to the channel for more tech videos. I will see you all in the next one. Till then, bye bye and stay safe.